It's me, Vicky Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. Probably caught a lot of you out this morning. It's quite early in the UK. I suppose I'm not sure what time it is in Australia. In America, probably everybody's just gone to sleep. But I've got Spanish classes later. I'm teaching Spanish later, so I had to come on a little bit earlier. I normally like to come on about 11ish Spanish time because that is at least gives people in the UK a chance to wake up, doesn't it? But anyway, I couldn't do that today. So, but it was important what I feel like I want to say. It's very important. What a morning already. I mean, it's literally, for those of you who maybe don't know me, my name's Vicky Marie. I normally talk about true crime or politics or anything that I think my chatterati will find interesting and that I find interesting, of course. I live in Spain. I've lived in Spain for nearly 30 years. And this morning I was told to get back to my own country. I was called an effing foreigner, a wanker. I was told that foreign people only come to Spain to steal and kill. That's the reality of being an immigrant sometimes. You know, just leave people alone. You know, all this hatred around the world, it's just got to stop. People hating people. Yes, some immigrants probably do rob and steal, but I'm not being funny. Do I really look like a person who's robbing and stealing? And even worse than that, all this was said by a woman who was probably about 80. I don't know. She's older than me anyway, and I'm really old. Anyway, I have taken some video footage. Luckily, I had the GoPro with me. So, yeah, here in Spain at the moment, it's only 8 minutes past 9. So I woke up quite early this morning and I thought, because last week it was so horrible, wasn't it? That something, I don't know, there's something in the air last week. It's like all over the world, everybody's, depressed and, it feels like all these energies, bad energies out there, isn't it? It's a horrible feeling, it's a very insecure feeling. And I tell you what, when you live in a different country, even a country like Spain, you are a foreigner. I'm an obvious foreigner. I understand how it must feel to be especially a Muslim woman or a Sikh woman. We're going to look at that. There's a horrible incident of racial sexual violence against a woman in the UK. You cannot hide what you are, apart from the colour of your skin. Your colour of your skin shows that you're different. I'm not as dark as Spanish people are. I don't look Spanish. Don't look anything Spanish, do I? Maybe when I was younger I had darker hair, but my hair is, bleached out with the sun and age. It's always blonde now. There's nothing I can do about it. So nobody's going to look at me and think I look Spanish. So just by the way you look, so I do, this is why I'm so anti all this immigrant hate, because just the way you look, people make assumptions about you, so I'm apparently a disgusting foreigner, fucking foreigner, and foreigners only come here to rape and murder. Probably if I was a man, I would have got the RAP side of it as well, but she didn't say that to me. And it was really quite scary, even though she was an old woman, a frail old woman. She had a walking stick. I'm going to show you the video. And it's like living in a parallel universe again. If that would have been a young man or, somebody stronger, and I would have been really scared because she just went off in this tirade. Well, as you'll see from the video that I did catch of her. And I was just like stunned, because I think because of her age, I was angry with her as well. But of course, because of her age, I couldn't get really angry because at the end of the day, she's more vulnerable than I am. I mean, I had a few words to her. I just said to her, look, you know, I think you must have a touch of dementia or something. Maybe she has got a touch of dementia. It was totally off the wall. But anyway, we'll talk about that. So so this morning, okay, so this is what happened this morning. I got up and I thought, all this horrible week last week, I'm going to get up this morning, I'm going to give my day to God. I'm trying to give my day to Jesus and do these things, you know, like trying to think in a more positive way, because it was so horrible last week, wasn't it? And I thought, I'm going to take the dogs to the beach and give them a walk on the beach. I haven't been for ages. It's like an esplanade to walk. It's normally beautiful there. And I thought, I'll take my GoPro. Luckily I did, because my phone's still not working properly. So I thought, I'll take the GoPro and I'll try and get some nice video of the sunrise, try and cheer people up a bit, you know, because everything's been so depressing. This is what happened as soon as I got out of the car. You know, as soon as I got out of the car, this mad woman was there with her dog, Pepe, I think he was called. He was a lovely little dog, not on a lead, as usual. And because my dogs ran over to him, they didn't do anything to him. My dogs are not aggressive. My dogs were on a lead, but, you know, like an extendable lead. So they ran over to him. And she just started having a go at me, and I was just looking, and I said to her, look, you know, you're not the queen of the world. You don't tell me what to. She's going, oh, you shouldn't let your dogs out the car like that, or you shouldn't do this. And I said, well, you haven't got your dog on a lead, actually. And then she started, then she launched straight into a fucking foreigner. Well, in Spanish, it's puta extranjera, gilipollas, wanker, asquerosa, you're disgusting. I mean, it was, you know, the language and everything. And I said, hang on a minute, you're the one who's swearing at me. I'm not swearing at you. I said, but, you know, you won't tell me what to do with my life. You know, you don't own me. You're not my boss. You don't tell me what to do. I do what I want to do, you know. And anyway, I was trying to, so she stood there with a walking stick, and I'm on a, you know, if I wasn't such a nice person, I would have kicked that walking stick away from her. It was tempting. I was just like, what? Where's all this come from? So yeah, I'm a disgusting foreigner. Foreigners only come to Spain to kill and steal. Yeah, so this is imagine that's the sort of thing that happens to people in the UK, even British people, because when people look at them, they don't know if they've got British nationality or not. All they see is the hijab or the turban, or the fact they've got darker skin, or they've come out of a mosque, or whatever. So, you know, you've got I thought, you know, I think God's made this for me to happen, so I'll make this video. But I'm always, you've probably noticed, you only can understand how it feels to be an immigrant if you are an immigrant, just like with a lot of things. And of course, British people like to call themselves expats, don't they? And they're not immigrants, but they are immigrants at the end of the day. And not everybody in Spain is happy with, you know, there's a far-right movement in Spain. There's a big far-right movement in Spain too. And of course, just everything's getting so much more divisive. You know, it is quite scary, I think. And as a person who lives at the end of the day, I live in a foreign country, and I'm an obvious foreigner. And that woman just launched into it. That's an old woman launching into a tirade like that. You know, it really is quite scary, and it makes you stop and think. You know, we've got to stop hating each other for whatever reasons. You know, I've been praying for her. You know, that was hard as well, because I like, you know, obviously I was angry with her. Anyway, we're going to have a look at the video. So then we're going to have a little update on Dezi Freeman, who is still on the run over there in Australia. And he is, of course, the person who declares he has no state. Maybe he's right. I don't know. I mean, he's you know, he's this sort of free citizen, sovereign citizen. doesn't have a state, where he wants to come over to Spain and get told to get back where he comes from, you know, where he came from. I mean, the world really does feel crazy at the moment. And this is what I don't like about some sort of leaders and things that are encouraging this craziness. Elon Musk, do you know what I mean? It's like all that money and all you can do is spread division and hate. Can't you do something better with it? Donald Trump, you know, all these things. And then, of course, there was, you know, I don't think I'm going to talk about the Charlie Kirk assassination anymore because I think it's all weird and contrived, and I just can't stand the hate around that either. So anyway, so first of all, I want to say thank you to people for watching. Thank you to people for liking, subscribing. I hope you're all okay in this crazy world. I'm going to do some videos this week about psychic shields. I had done my psychic shield this morning, thank goodness. I think maybe that's why I didn't get really angry, because there are other mornings she might have caught me out and I might have got angry back, and that wouldn't have been a good thing, would it? Especially because she was an old woman. You know, if I had pushed her over off a walking stick, you know, it seemed like I'm the bad person. So luckily I had put my psychic shield around me before I went out. So thank God for that. And I'm going to do some videos on psychic shields this week. I think we all need a bloody psychic shield, don't we? If not a proper shield. I feel like going out in a suit of armour. You know, it's like, you know, stop all this. Oh, I don't know. Everybody just seems so angry and so full of hate for other people. You know, it's crazy, isn't it? So, yeah, thank you, especially to my members. Thank you so much for being members. We'll have our members live on Thursday. Do you know what I think I might do is some tarot card readings that I haven't done for ages. People used to like them, but you'll let me know anyway. I'll put a poll out to the members or something. I might do some tarot card readings. I'm scared to do them, to be honest. In a way, you think, bloody hell, you know, this mad world. Let's hope it's a better week this week. And of course, we lost Ricky Hatton yesterday. I mean, if you're from my neck of the woods, that's Ricky Hatton. He was a boxer from Manchester. But the good news that happened yesterday was Manchester City won. That's Ricky's favourite team, so he would have been happy about that. They won in the derby. They beat Manchester United 3-0. So that was some good news yesterday. So, yeah, thank you to my members. Thank you to those of you who buy me Ko-fis, who send super stickers, who just send nice emails, nice messages. Thank you. It's so much appreciated. You know, we all need some kindness, don't we, at the moment? Okay, let's take off this. The banner. And hi, lovely lurkers. Thank you for watching. Hi, replay crew. Thank you for watching. And even loathsome lurkers, you know, according to that woman, I should get back to where I came from, you know. So, God, just like, oh, dear me. Dear, oh, dear. Anyway. I told her that I've taken a picture of her. I put her on TikTok. Hopefully she'll go viral. What a horrible woman. Imagine getting to that age and hating people so much. Anyway, let's come into the chat now and see who's brave enough. You have to be brave these days to make any comment of, you know, God, you can't have a, you know, to talk about these people that bleat on about free speech. Free speech, free speech. Oh, hang on a minute, you don't agree with me, so no. Only free speech if you agree with what I say. Yeah, whatever. Okay. Hi, Angel. Hi, Annie. Oh, you got, yeah, it's a girl. There's quite a few of you. I know. Yeah, an old woman as well. Hi, Julie. Julie lives in Spain, so she might understand. Yeah, you get, well, you know, you do get stared at. Now, do you know what? I think probably a lot of foreign people in Spain get abused, you know, like verbally. But but most of them wouldn't understand what the person was saying. Like if I didn't speak Spanish, when that old woman started ranting on at me, well, I wouldn't have known what she was saying, would I? I would have got the gist that it wasn't good. But I think it probably happens a lot. I've caught people out loads of times saying things about foreigners, and I've then just said something to them in Spanish, and they look at you like it's like, oh shit, they say you've got to be kind to people. You can't hate people just because of what they look like. And they look like an immigrant, and you think, oh, they're an immigrant. Immigrants are bad. Some immigrants are bad. There's a lot of immigrants. A lot of British people come to Spain to escape justice in their country, just like happens with immigrants going to Britain. Anyone who does something wrong, they're always going to try and go to another country to get away from it. That doesn't mean you can say that everybody is like that. Honestly, it's not rocket science, is it? You take people as you find them. Some Russian people are nice, some aren't. Some British people are nice, some aren't. Some Spanish people are nice, some aren't. That is how it is. You can't just say, oh, all Spanish people are this, or all British people are that, or all anybody, Indian people are. You have to take people as you find them. We're just people. We're people. All right, culture has an influence, and there are influences, I know that. But generally, you have to take people for what they are, get to know them, then decide if they're a twonk or not. Hi, Maria. And especially if you've not, haven't done anything. It's different. If I get arrested tomorrow for killing some Spanish person, then yeah, have your hate tirade at me. But you haven't done anything. Oh, dear me. Well, that's how I said to this woman. I've lived in Spain for nearly 30 years. Thing is, this woman's probably not from this area. She's probably from Madrid, because, of course, they all come from Madrid and come here on their holidays. And to be honest, they feel like foreigners to me. Get back to Madrid. It's like you could go down that line, couldn't you? So 30 years I've lived in Spain. 30 years. Hi, Bluebell. Yeah, Bluebell, you're an immigrant. You understand a little bit. Yeah, exactly. Right-wing policy. Vox is the Spanish far right. And they've got quite popular. The far right, this sort of this divide, isn't it? It's risen in all countries, probably. But, yeah, it is quite scary. It is scary. And she was an old woman, but I thought about if she would have been like a younger man, I would have been scared. I wasn't scared of her. Hi, Fluffy. I was more scared of what I might do to her, but I didn't do anything or really even say much. I just wanted to, I think that's because I'd done the psychic shield. If I hadn't done the psychic shield in the morning, I might have gone mad and I might have kicked a walking. I'm a human being. When someone's calling you a wanker, disgusting, get back to your own country, you lot only come here to murder and rob. It's hard, isn't it, to stay calm? But I did stay calm. And it's funny because the police actually turned up. Because, she went to hit me with a walking stick. She got a walking stick and went to hit me. I said, if you touch me, I said, I will call the police. And she's like, yeah, my policy. Go on then, call the police. Anyway, as I was walking back, she walked off one way. And as I was walking back with my dogs, I saw the police. The police came along. I thought she'll shit herself when she sees that police car because she'll think I've called the police. Thank you, Annie. This is a little waistcoat. It's very comfy. I've had this necklace years, but I couldn't statement. See, yeah. So she's totally, I didn't manage to put any makeup on really. I've put some lipstick on, and this is the makeup from yesterday. So shall we have a look? So first of all, I'm going to start off. We'll have a look at. I thought I'll give you some nice. Some nice footage of the sunrise. That was the point of going there, to take some nice video of the sunrise. Where's it gone? Where's these videos gone? What? Where's it gone? Hang on. Now, I know they're there because I was watching them earlier. Hang on. There it is. Come in there. I mean, she was like, it's like something, really, when I think about it, it's like some of a horror film with some old, like The Shining, where the woman comes out the bath or whatever. Like, though she was a lot older than that woman, but no, it's just like, just thinking, this can't be, what? It's like, still in a bit of shock, I think, from it. So it's been it's happened to me before. I've been told to get back to my own country quite a few times over the 30 years that I've lived here. But it's not for a long time. It's been a long time since it's happened. Let's try again. I never find these videos, so I downloaded them, I had them there, I was watching them. Now I can't find them. So somebody tell me why that is, please. Why can't I find them now? Right, I've got to try a different way now. What? Oh, where do things disappear to on my computer? Oh my God. Right, sorry, you've got to talk amongst yourselves while I work out why these videos that are downloaded, I'm going to have to download them again, am I? What the hell? Why do things disappear? Why do things disappear? Hang on. When I look at that, I can see the videos on here. I'm just importing them again. I've already imported them once. Don't understand why I can't find them. God, I hate technology. So that's the other thing. Everything seems to, this morning the kettle wouldn't work. Anyway, it's working now, but you just think, it's like something in the air at the moment, isn't there? Right, they're importing. I have to wait for them. So while I'm waiting for them, I think what I'll do is give you the update on Dezi Freeman. See if that works. So let's have a little thing about Dezi, a little reminder about Dezi. Now, for those of you who've been watching my channel, you'll know, or if you're in Australia, this man, Dezi Freeman, he's on the run in Australia. He's like Australia's most wanted because he did kill 2 police officers now he's been on the run for a long time. It's been over a month, hasn't it? The 2 officers have been buried now, and they went to arrest Dezi. They had a warrant against his arrest, a warrant for his arrest. The import's doesn't seem to be working. There was a warrant out for his arrest for historic sex abuse, which people have said to me, I mean, I don't know what the circumstances are, But apparently it was, you know, a girlfriend from when he was young as well. Perhaps he was just over the age of consent, and the girlfriend that he had at the time was under the age of consent. The police went off with a search warrant to his, I think he was living in some sort of caravan, wasn't he, or something. Went off to arrest him. He took umbrage to that. He didn't want to be arrested. And he shot two of the, in fact, there's three of the policemen that he shot. Two died. One was in a critical condition in hospital. And that this has been quite divisive as well, I think. You know, there are people who support Dezi, because Dezi is one of these people who doesn't believe in the state, but he does get state benefits, just to say that. I mean, I think it's different. And he also quotes all the laws of the land, left, right, and centre. I mean, either you believe in the state or you don't. I mean, you can't have all the good things of the state and not the bad things. Oh, look, they are important now. So, you know, I'm not, a lot of people are supportive of Dezi. I understand that. If you know, people love an anti-hero, don't they? But the thing is, he has murdered two police officers. It is murder. I'm sorry, he shouldn't have shot them, and that's all there is to it. So he's on the run, and they've been searching for him in these sort of cave places. He lived near like a national park, so he just literally ran into the bush. And since then, they've not found him. And his family say he is a survivalist. He could live quite a long time. It just seems a very long time to me to live without proper food and shelter, unless somebody is helping him. But, you know, I don't know. So I know there's people out there that support him and people out there who don't support him. But at the end of the day, the authorities are looking for him, and they're going to great lengths to try and find him. But so far, I don't think they've found anything. So is he even still alive?
Victoria Police says it's conducted the largest ever tactical policing operation in Australian history in the search for alleged gunman and fugitive Dezi Freeman. Reporter Leanne Wong joins us now from Melbourne. Hi Leanne, police gave an update on this search. What do they have to say?
Well, essentially that the search is still continuing. As you said on Friday, police say they undertook the largest ever tactical police deployment in Australia's history, involving specialist officers from Victoria, interstate, as well as New Zealand, who've all been scouring the area around Dezi Freeman's property. Now, today, police again reiterated just how incredibly tough the terrain is out there. They say that as part of this operation, police have been crawling through mine shafts and caves. They've been crossing over rivers, as well as searching plantations and gorges. Hundreds of properties have been searched at this stage, both with and without a warrant. Police say they've also received more than 1,100 calls and tip-offs with information. And they say that while they're focusing the search still on that Mount Buffalo area, they still really haven't ruled anything out. They say they're still open to the possibility that Mr. Freeman is being harboured by an associate, or that he could even be dead. Now, today we heard from the Acting Deputy Commissioner of Regional Operations.
No, it reminds me so much of the Travis Decker search in America. You know, he's the piece of scum that murdered his three daughters, suffocated them, and then disappeared. And of course, he's not been found either, and he's been missing for a long time. He's another one that they said was a survivalist and might possibly be surviving somewhere. Or has he deleted himself, you know? And the same with Dezi. I mean, he could. Thing is, if somebody does delete themselves, then they're so much harder to find. You know, they really are. Except with cadaver dogs, I suppose, because the heat-seeking stuff doesn't work because there's no heat to seek. So I think it stays active for a little while. You know, so it all gets, you know, and it's just a question of stumbling across the person's body, isn't it? So, you know, it's very possible that Dezi may have done something to himself, but of course it's equally as possible that somebody might be helping him. And the same, I think with Travis Decker over in America, I don't think anybody will be helping him because he murdered his own three daughters. Surely nobody would harbour him, help him. suffocating his 3 young daughters, all under the age of 10. I doubt very much that anybody would be helping him. But you never know, do you? But whereas Dezi, I suppose it's feasible somebody might be helping him. I can tell from comments that I get on videos that I make about Dezi. A lot of people support him for whatever reason, and that's their right, I suppose, to do that. Dezi is like an anti-hero, a popular, he imagines himself as maybe as this sort of Rambo type anti-establishment, and a lot of people, they relate to that.
Russell Barrett, who spoke about also police's unwavering resolve to find Mr. Freeman. They say they will not stop. This manhunt will not end until Mr. Freeman is found. He also spoke about the sheer scale of this operation, describing it as unprecedented.
Our Special Operations Group, together with equivalents from all the states and territories and New Zealand, in fact, over 125 specialist tactical members, searched an area in the immediate vicinity of Freeman's location. They were crawling through caves, they were traversing rivers and falls, they were searching plantations and gorges in an effort to find Freeman. As I say, this is the largest tactical policing operation ever undertaken in Australia's policing history.
Well, previously travellers were advised to avoid the towns of Papunka and Bright while this manhunt was going, and travellers were really abiding by that advice. Those towns have been incredibly quiet over the past 2 weeks, and they also say that local businesses say that they've really been struggling from that drop-off in business. Normally they'd receive a lot of business from tourists who have been avoiding that area. Today that advice was lifted, though police say they're still urging people to be mindful if they are in that area. We heard from the acting Deputy Commissioner, who says that the decision to ease that travel advice was a difficult decision to make, but it was necessary in order to help the community get back on his feet. He also said that
everything's been on stop while they're looking in these sort of places for Dezi, so they're relaxing it now, but they haven't found anything.
That advice could change possibly in the future. It could ease further, or it could revert back depending on how the manhunt is going.
So really, I mean, literally the update on Dezi Freeman is that they haven't found him, basically, but they've eased the travel warnings around the area of Parapunka. And this apparently is the largest ever. Let's have a look where it says here. The Dezi Freeman Search at Parapunka is now Australia's largest tactical police deployment. So it's costing the taxpayer a lot of money. Let's have a look at this video. Oh, look at that dog in the cave. Oh, bless. Yeah, so they're going in these caves, looking for him. Oh, I hope the dogs are safe as well, and the men, of course. We always worry about the dogs more than the people, but because the dogs, they're trained to go in these caves and things. But it's quite, God, I won't want to go in there, that's for sure. Let's just watch that one more time. This dog, oh. I don't know. We don't deserve dogs, do we? We'd be lost without them, really. God, looks so claustrophobic. It just shows, they've got to go in these places. He could be in one of those, couldn't he? New Zealand officers briefly joined the search for the alleged Parapunka police killer Dezi Freeman, which is now Australia's largest ever tactical police operation. So hundreds of officers from Victoria, Interstate, the Australian Federal Police and the Army continue to search dense, rugged bushland in Victoria's northeast for the fugitive, who has now been on the run for 20 days. And they revealed that the New Zealand contingent took part in an intensive search on Friday in the immediate vicinity of Mr. Freeman's Porepunkah property. An acting Deputy Commissioner of Regional Operations, Russell Barrett, said the operation included more than 125 specialist officers. This included incredibly rugged areas. They were crawling through caves. They were traversing rivers and falls. They were searching plantations and gorges. I mean, God, it's just a massive area, isn't it? How are they ever going to find this guy? How are they ever going to find him? And it says they've endured freezing conditions at Mount Buffalo and Porepunkah. So he's accused of shooting dead Detective Senior Constable Neil Thompson and Senior Constable Vadim Dewart-Hottart at his Porepunkah property on August the 26th. The New Zealand officers have since departed, but Acting Deputy Commissioner Barrett said the resolve to find Mr. Freeman had not wavered. And he said that police have now searched hundreds of properties with and without warrant, including abandoned houses, mine shafts, caves and huts. He said Mr. Freeman continued to be considered armed and dangerous, adding the search area contained so many places to hide. This is a really technical search that requires absolutely specialist capabilities to undertake because of the dangers that are involved. We're coming across animals. Every step is really difficult. It's uneven ground where you don't have line of sight of your colleagues for a lot of the time. We think about Freeman and what he's capable of. Now, he is armed as well, of course, so... Oh, look at him carrying this dog across the water. Oh, bless. Oh, he said there'd been no confirmed sightings of Mr. Freeman since the fatal shootings almost 3 weeks ago. I remind the Victorian community that this is an incredibly challenging moment in Victoria Police's history. So the travel warnings have been eased. People had been encouraged to avoid Porepunkah. Look at this, going down here. Oh, my God. And he said, we're saying that people can return to that area, but be mindful of your own safety. You know, it's quite scary, isn't it? Because Dezi, hopefully, he wouldn't kill a civilian, you know, like it's, I know he hates the police, but hopefully wouldn't kill, you know, an innocent bystander, but you never know what a desperate man might do. And he says the fact that the sun's out, we've still got snow on the mountain, spring's blooming and the school holidays around the corner. Of course, it's all different there, isn't it? You know, here in Spain, the school holiday, and in UK, I suppose, school holidays have just finished. Here in Spain, hopefully it'll be getting cooler. Eventually, it's 24 degrees at the moment, which is a comfortable heat. And Mr. Warner said the timing couldn't have been better with a few major events approaching. We've got the grand final long weekend rolling into the Melbourne Cup long weekend and the hot rods. So it's one of the biggest and busiest periods for the whole region. And he said, while the region is open for business, the travel warning could be reinstated if there are any developments. And Acting Deputy Commissioner Barrett also urged anyone travelling to a holiday house to report anything unusual on arrival. It's really important for us to know immediately if a burglary has occurred at a house that's normally vacant. And Mount Buffalo National Park, however, has remained closed. We consider he may still be in the area. It's a possibility he may be harboured or he may be dead. And he reminded everyone of the $1 million reward. I mean, that's a massive reward. I mean, to me, if people haven't come forward after that massive reward was offered, nobody's going to come forward with any information, either because nobody's got any information or because they're scared of coming forward. You know, if the $1 million reward didn't prompt people to come forward, no one's going to come forward now. Having said that, he said we've had over 1,100 pieces of information and we're working through that. He said some of those reports included possible sightings interstate, would not say where. We're open to exploring all information and intelligence, and we're getting that from broader areas. Acting Deputy Commissioner Barrett again urged Mr. Freeman to call 000 to arrange a surrender plan. I don't think he's going to surrender, do you? You know, people say the police are going to shoot him. And the thing is, he's killed 2 police officers. So, you know, they're not going to ask questions, are they? They are, you know, unless he actually makes a plan with them, they are probably going to shoot him. I mean, you know, I'm just being realistic. Okay. Yeah, no one's claimed the reward. Yeah. Okay, so I think I've found this footage now. So that was just your update on Dezi Freeman. Going back to my rate, I think was it a racial attack? Would you consider it a racially motivated attack or xenophobic attack? You know, I don't know. I think it's a bit of both. But I have found the footage now, so I'm going to try now. Oh, try now. There are 3 videos I want to show you. Come on, you've got to be there. She put a curse on me, probably. Where's it gone? It's there. 1 minute, I can see it, and then it disappears. It's really weird. How can it be there but not be there? Anyway, I did upload one of them to be able to show that. What I'm going to have to do is, if I can't find right, I can at least sort my TikTok out. Puta madre, she called me. Don't know. Puta madre. Puta madre. I mean, you just don't expect it from a 70-odd-year-old woman, do you? Anyway, right, I'm going to share that. I can share that. This is one of the videos that I can share you. I'll put this on my TikTok.
Wow, qué simpáticas española. Wow. Wow, wow. Qué buena.
So that's just one video. I've got 2 or 3, I think. But yeah, so she's got a walking stick.
Wow, qué simpática.
Puta madre means basically, I mean, not literally, but basically, puta madre, you'd say is fuck off, you know, just fuck off. As she's walking off, she's shouting asquerosa, vetiatu. She did use usted, actually, which is why she used the formal, I don't know, because the things she was saying to me weren't very formal. But yeah, so she's got these pink trainers on. She's got a walking stick. She's got a little pink bow in her hair. I mean, maybe she is suffering from dementia or something. I don't know. She was very strange.
Wow, qué simpáticas española. Wow. Wow, wow. Qué buena.
So I was just saying, you know what a nice Spanish person you are. How good you are. Did that come through? Yeah, you could see it. Unbelievable. So I need to find these other ones. That was just a very short one. I had a bit of a longer one. Why can't I find them? I don't understand. Am I going to have to load them up to, and we're going to have to load them up to TikTok so I can show them. It's ridiculous, isn't it? I wonder if I can load them up to YouTube. Hang on. I don't understand how I can see them, and then when I try and go into them, they disappear. It's weird. Really, really weird. Just don't understand it. Really don't. Can't even play them on the... Why can't I play them on the... God, hate technology. Anyway, you got to see the one bit of a... I'm going to have to load them up properly, make a video and release it separately, because for some unknown reason, for which reason I have absolutely no idea, I can't... they're downloaded off my GoPro. They're imported. And they're supposed to be on the... Oh. Hang on. May have found them. May have found them. That's weird. So weird. It comes up all files. Hang on. Oh, I think I may have found it. There you go. So yay, I think it says your browser is having trouble sharing your video. This can happen if the file is invalid. How can it be invalid? How can the file be invalid? It won't show it. Something weird going on here. Honestly, I swear there's something weird going on, just in general. Right, try and do it. I'm determined. I cannot see why there's any reason why I can't show these videos. I've loaded one up to TikTok, no problem whatsoever. And then let's see, unlisted, save. Right, sorry. So I've tried loading it up actually onto YouTube. Now. So that one is loaded up, but that's the one you've already seen on TikTok. Let's just show that again. Yeah, managed to load it onto YouTube unlisted, so I should be able to.
Wow, qué simpáticas española. Wow.
Now,
Wow,
this
wow.
area where I went
buena.
to walk the dogs, all these flats here are all owned by foreigners, mainly Russians. You know, the Russians bought up this area. They're very expensive apartment blocks because it's right on the beach, literally. I mean, it's a beautiful place. Maybe she came from round the back area. Maybe she's got an apartment there. I don't know. But, you know, she better get used to foreigners because they're all bloody foreign in that area.
Wow, qué simpáticas española. Wow.
With a little pink ribbon that
Wow.
matches her
Qué buena.
trainers. Okay, let's try and load another one up then. Oh, I think this is going to work doing it this way, but I don't know why I've got to do it this way. But anyway, never mind. Don't know why I've got to do it this way, but at least if I can actually show you the video. Let's have a go at this. You know, be a YouTuber, they said. It would be fun, they said. Be fun if all the technology would work. So it's being processed. God, it's not that long, for God's sake. Right, there's one more, I think. That one's been processed. That's probably the longest video, to be fair. Let's try this one. Well, I bet you're all falling asleep, aren't you, waiting for this? My God, should have done it earlier. Right, so I've got 2 videos processing. Just crazy. I'll tell you, something in the air, definitely. So many things not working. But I'll give you a little bit of waffle. So somebody had given number 1 son a bread maker. So yesterday decided he was going to try and make some bread in it. I don't know if any of you, hi Moonbeam, I don't know if any of you have ever used a bread maker, but it's a total waste of time in Spain because bread is so cheap anyway. If you go to the supermarket, you've got a brilliant selection of fresh bread every day. So having a bread maker, you know, it's ridiculous. Anyway, oh my God, what performance. So plugs in this bread maker, puts all the stuff in it, sets it on 3.5 hours, I think the setting was, 3.5, 4 hours. You know, so yeah, you get this lovely fresh bread. It costs you 50 cents in the supermarket, probably costs you a £5 to make it at home because of the electricity you use and everything. Anyway, it starts kneading the dough and then it warmed up, then it went cool, then it did this, then it did that. And every 5 minutes he's coming down just to see how it's progressing, and it's taking ages. Yeah, so no. Honestly, Bluebell, it's a waste of money. Don't bother getting one. So anyway, this went on for hours, and there was only about an hour to go, and we're all looking, thinking, oh, this would be nice bread coming out. And then the electricity tripped. So when it got to the bit where I think it bakes the bread at the end, it does all the kneading and I don't even know what it does. Don't know why it takes 3 hours. I could just pop to the supermarket now with 50 cents and buy a lovely baguette. It just tripped all the electricity. So we tried plugging it back in, turning off the aircon, turning off the fans. No, every time we plugged it in, once it got to the key bit, which is the baking bit, just cut off. All the electricity went over and over again. So in the end, I just said, look, just forget it, you know. Anyway, so what he did was then he took out the dough that was in the bread maker, that, you know, because it just wasn't going to work, and put it in the oven. Ah, dear. So half an hour in the oven, and we ended up, it looked like a pancake. I mean, it was edible. That's the only thing you could say about it. It was like a flatbread, but I've never seen a flatter flatbread. I've made flatbread. A flatbread is easy to make. You know, don't need a bread maker for it. So it's honestly, I wouldn't recommend. Total waste of money. That probably cost about €5 just for this flatbread pancake that we had to finish off in the oven anyway. So the verdict is bread makers, total waste of money. Well, if you live in Spain anyway, so definite waste of money. Right, one of these has finished processing. God, I'm sure that woman put a bloody curse on me. That's probably things I didn't catch everything she was saying. She's probably cursing me forever and my YouTube channel. She went to me, oh, take a photo, take a photo. I said, I'm taking a photo. I'm taking a video, actually. Come on, it's got to be processed. Don't take this long to process a 1 minute long video. Here we go. There you go. Here's one's processed. It's only 1 minute long, for fuck's sake. So this is where I went ahead of her, and she'd been shouting all these things to me. And I came round the corner, and then she comes round the corner like something out The Walking Dead.
No, prefiero guardar una foto de ti.
So I said, look, I prefer to get a photo of you. I'm going to take a photo of you. So she skipped in this bit behind the bushes there and thought she could get away from me. And this is her dog, Pepe. Just left him, and she went in, you know, there's not even a path there. She went over the gravel to try and avoid having it when she realised I'd got a video out.
Hola, Pepe. Hola, Pepe.
Pepe. She's taking the piss out my voice now.
Yeah. Claro.
So all the time, as she's muttering away to herself, she's calling me a gilipollas, which is a wanker. She's called me asqueroso extranjero, a disgusting foreigner. And yeah, you know, you only all come here to murder and kill. She's murder and rob. She's saying all that. In the meantime, I've got this lovely sunrise coming up.
Bueno.
So then I realised I could come and find her here in this opening. So that's what I decided to do. There's Riley. Oh, the dogs were having a great little walk.
Yeah. Sonrisa. Dame una sonrisa.
Yeah. And then she comes up to me as if she's going to take the video off me. And I said to her, dame una sonrisa. Give me a smile. Give me a smile. She come up like literally as of like something out of a horror film. She comes up with her bloody walking stick.
Yeah.
Ascarosa.
Sonrisa. Dame una sonrisa. Ah.
Oh my God. One more time we'll look, watch it.
No, es que prefiero guardar una foto de ti. Puedo. Hola, Pepe. Hola, Pepe.
He's taking the piss out the way I talk.
Yeah. Claro. Bueno. Bueno.
I should put some music to it like Jaws.
Sonrisa. Dame una sonrisa. Ah.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I've got one more video, which is the video. Oh, no, I think I might have two, actually. One's still being processed. What about that one? What about that one? No, that's the one I've just shown you. So I will sort them out. And put them all in one video, because also I took some nice video of the way there, driving in the car on the way there with the sunrise. The whole point of the video, I was trying to do something positive to try and cheer people up. And then it was when he arrived there, this monster woman just sort of started on me. And anyway, and I thought, things happen for a reason. And it's good because it's obviously there's that big rally on Saturday in the UK, which I'm not covering. I don't even want to talk about it because I'm sick of hate and I'm sick of division. And, that's how it feels to be an immigrant when somebody hates you, just not because they even know you. Now if I knew her and I did something wrong to her and she hated me because she knew me as a person, because of something I'd done wrong to her or whatever, well, that's fair enough, isn't it? But when somebody hates you just because of the colour of your skin, just because you're a foreigner, just because, they know that you've not been born in that country. Though having said that, she didn't know that I wasn't Spanish, did she really? There are blonde Spanish people, it's not like there's no Spanish people, but obviously probably the moment I open my mouth, even though I speak Spanish, I'm not Spanish. So, whereas if my son would have been there, and that's the other thing, she wouldn't have done that if my son would have been there. First of all, when he speaks Spanish, you wouldn't know that he wasn't Spanish because his accent is from the village where he's been brought up, even though he wasn't born here in Spain. There's nobody that would think, if they heard him speaking Spanish, wouldn't even know that he wasn't Spanish. Whereas with me, I'll always be a British person who can speak English. And I teach Spanish. I speak perfect Spanish, but I've got a British accent. So it's like I almost speak too good Spanish, I've been told. How can I explain that? If you know anybody in your country who's learnt your language, often they speak the language because they've learnt it at school and they've learnt it in a grammatical way rather than just learning like slang, etc. They often sound quite sort of posh, don't they, and different because they've learned, whereas, my son, he's learnt Spanish through school and things like that and through being with Spanish people, so he's got the more authentic Spanish accent. And it's not always a good thing. There's a lot of words that he doesn't know that I know because I've learnt Spanish through a different way. So, it's if my son would have been with me, she would never have started like that. He wouldn't have put up with that anyway. Do you know what? It's like now, and we get called names like Giris. Giris is an unpleasant name for a foreigner, a bit like if you said Pakis in the UK or whatever. You know, not names that you should be calling foreign people. You know, insulting names. You know, and this happens. So, you know, always spare a thought before you start attacking immigrants or from anywhere. Just think, just even before you even know anything about them or whether they've done anything wrong or haven't, you know, any immigrant that does anything wrong should have the law against them, just as any British person or Spanish person or Australian person, American person. You know, I'm not saying you should let immigrants get away with things because they're immigrants. I'm not saying that. I'm saying just be aware, you know, everybody's different. Not all immigrants are bad. And just what I think, all this hate and division, I think it's deliberately being engendered because you know that the people, you know, who are running countries that are having wars, where their people are struggling to survive because of the cost of living crisis and that. You know, the people up at the top, they're not struggling. They're not worrying about how to pay their electricity bills or put food on the table for their kids. So, you know, divide and rule is such a big concept that governments use. Split people apart. You know, you pit people against each other. Look up and see what's going on. You know, all this Peter Mandelson thing, you know, Keir Starmer. I was a supporter of Keir Starmer. I can't believe the judgment that he used to let Peter Mandelson back into public life again. You know, he's always been there's always been bad rumours about Peter Mandelson ever since I can remember. He's been sacked a few times and he's got these dodgy connections, always has had. And now this with Epstein. You know, so I'm very disappointed in Keir Starmer, really, really disappointed. Now they're talking about bringing Andy Burnham from I mean, and I would say, yeah, brilliant, bring Andy Burnham. And then you worry, don't you? Is he going to turn out to be, there's something about him like there was about Angela Rayner, or there's always something, isn't there? So, you know, maybe Dezi Freeman's got the right idea, but then who's going to run the state? Somebody's got to run the state. And people can say, oh, no, you don't need a state. You do, because there's too many of us to govern ourselves. You know, if you don't have any police force or any, you know, it just can't work, can it, with millions of people, all the millions of people that live in Britain. Someone decides, for example, or Spain or anywhere, someone decides they're going to come and rob your house because they like your telly better than their telly. And you haven't got, what you're going to do, ring the police, or you're just going to shoot them and it's going to be chaos. I mean, you know, you need a state, but I think we've got to be vigilant of the state. I think that's the problem at the moment. But all these rallies against immigrants and stuff like that, they're not the problem. The problem is the people in charge, that they're having a great time. They're having a great time. They're living their best life and everybody else is struggling and looking and blaming each other, men blaming women. You know, then you've got blaming trans people, blaming gay people, blaming immigrants. You know, it's this scapegoating when really what's going on is look up, look what's happening. They love everybody at each other's throats. They love it because that means you're not looking up at them and what they're doing. So that's a message that I wanted to put over, really. You know, someone would always rise up and want power. Yeah, they would. They would always rise up and want power. You know, most people, they don't want power, do they? They don't want power. Most people just want to get up in the morning, live their lives, go to work, bring up their kids, have a bit of a social life at the weekends and that. People go on holiday. You know, people, most people, they don't want to be bothered with politics, most people. But then you'd always get one person, at least one, who'd come up and say, who'd want to take charge, and people would let them take charge because people don't want to be bothered with all that generally, do they? Most people, you know, they just want, but you've still got to make them accountable. That's the thing. You can't ignore them and just let them get on and do whatever they want. You know, you've got to find them accountable. You've always got to be aware of what's going on. But, you know, most people don't even want to be aware, do they? Really? You try talking about politics to people. Most of the time, they're not interested, are they? They're more interested in what's happening in Coronation Street, what's happening in EastEnders. I sat with a friend once and she talked to me for 2 hours about a storyline in Coronation Street. And at the end, I just said to her, you do know that's not real, though, don't you? It's like that's not really happened. You know, like that, you know, and then you'll say, oh, well, what do you think about Donald Trump becoming president? It's like, who? You know, it's crazy. Anyway, because that's the way they control us, of course, through soap operas and through TV and stuff like that. And maybe that's what's disintegrating a bit now, because, of course, we're not so controlled, are we, by TV now? Social media, we go on social media, we see all different kinds of opinions. Sometimes it's not, I mean, it's a good thing in one way because we're more aware, but it's a bad thing in another way because it means we get overloaded with information, don't we? It's like too much information. It's too much for us to take, and things that are happening all over the world that normally years ago we wouldn't have even known about what was going on in Russia or whatever, would we? You know, we wouldn't have known about famines in Africa, and, you know, but now everything's doom and gloom, isn't it? Last week was particularly bad, I think. So anyway, I went out this morning to try and take some positive footage, ended up with this mad woman telling me calling me a fucking foreigner and telling me to get back to my country. But it made me think a lot, and I thought, God, yeah, you know, if you lived in, if you're especially women, I think, Muslim women, and you live in a country that hates immigrants, hates Muslims or whatever, you know, you're really going to struggle because you can't hide what you are, who you are, what religion you are. You can't hide it because you're wearing a hijab. I just want to share, this is something I wanted to look at. Yeah. So I don't know if you saw this in the UK. This was a woman who was RAPD'd with a racial motivation in the West Midlands in the UK, and they've just arrested a man. So this poor woman was a Sikh. And news of the arrest comes after members of the Sikh community gathered on Sunday to show support for the woman. So officers were called just before 8:30 a.m. on Tuesday after a Sikh woman in her 20s reported being attacked by two white men in the area around Tame Road in Oldbury. Not sure where that is, actually. West Midlands. And the man, who was in his 30s, was detained as part of enquiries on Sunday evening. West Midlands police said he remains in custody on suspicion of RAPE. Now, RAPE is always a difficult one because it's always one person's word against another. I don't know if there's any forensic evidence. But anyway, Chief Superintendent Kim Madill of Sandwell Police said this is a significant development in the investigation. We want to thank the community for their continuing support. The investigation remains ongoing and we would urge people not to speculate. Yeah, good luck. As we work to identify and trace all those who may have been involved. So this is where it happened, this piece of grassland. News of the arrest comes after members of the Sikh community gathered on Sunday to show support for the woman. Scores of people met outside the Guru Nanak Gurdwara temple in Smethwick, where they conducted prayers and offered their support, and then they went to the alleged scene of the crime. And speaking to Sky News at the gathering, local councillor Parbinder Kaur said she was attending the protest as a woman a mother and a grandmother. She said her religion is one of peace and praying for humanity as a whole, which is why she believes this is the time to unite. The victim, who is entitled to anonymity, previously issued a statement through community group Sikh Youth UK. And during this attack, they allegedly said to this woman, "You don't belong in this country." They made comments, so it was a racially motivated RAPE, allegedly. So, these things are terrible, aren't they? Terrible, terrible. Where's the demonstrations for this? It's all, attacks on women, like especially RAPE, etc. Doesn't matter which woman it's against, there should be an outcry. And the same, if it's an RAPE by an immigrant, there should be outcry too. I'm not, I'm not saying, oh yeah, it's okay for immigrants to do it, but it's not okay for anybody to do it. Vile, awful. Yeah, Moonbeam, divide and rule. Yeah, Angel, that literally happened. I'm trying to think what the storyline was. It was a couple of years ago, and I literally sat with my friend, and she said, "Oh yeah, have you seen that in Coronation Street?" And she started and I said, "Oh, I don't watch Coronation Street. I used to watch it years ago. It's crap now, isn't it? Coronation Street, all those soaps are just awful, in my opinion. I know a lot of people like them. That's fine, great. But they are not real life." And yeah, she started telling me it was somebody, don't know, something about parentage of somebody, and then somebody murdered somebody, and it was literally a couple of hours I was just sat listening to it. And then because I follow true crime, and people get bored with that. I wouldn't sit with my friends and family who are not interested in true crime and talk to them for 2 hours about a true crime. Sit on here and talk about it for 2 hours, because I think people are interested, because otherwise they wouldn't watch and they wouldn't subscribe. But at least they're true things that have happened. They are real life. They are real life. I'm not talking about something that's not even real, and for 2 hours like that. And she obviously, I don't know what she thought when I said to her, "Look, you do know that's not real though, don't you?" She looked sort of nonplussed, like, soap operas were invented, they were developed because they stop people thinking as well. These good morning programs, all those things are just to stop people thinking about what's really going on in the world. Maybe it's a good thing. Maybe you're better off that way, not thinking about what's going on in the world. Sometimes I do think that. I'll tell you what I watched over the weekend, yesterday mainly. There's a new thing on, the Tinder swindler. The woman that was swindled out of a lot of money, there's been like a follow-up on a documentary made. What is it called? Love Con Revenge or something like that. Love Con Revenge, I think. It was really good. Yeah, let's show you. Very interesting. So it's the woman who was swindled by the Tinder swindler. She's helping other women that have had similar experiences. And it's on Netflix. Well, I was watching it yesterday. Very interesting. I'm always a bit, because there's part of me that thinks, well, why would you give a man 20 grand or whatever? I mean, I haven't got any money, but maybe if I had money, I would give a man some money. But of course, they're very manipulative, aren't they? You do sort of think, gosh, why would you do that? But again, they don't do this. They don't, start going out with you and then 10 minutes later ask you for £1,000 or whatever. These are slow burn cons, aren't they? you know, and there were women on there that the guy, they were living with the guy, they'd met him on Tinder normally, met him on social media or Facebook dating. And everything's great at first, you know, you get all the love bombing, you get them spending a lot of money on you. That's how they do it. It's a slow, it's grooming, isn't it, really? It's grooming. And such a shame these women got so upset. I mean, this lady here, I can't remember her name, but she'd lost her mum to self-deletion. She was so vulnerable. And this man came along and conned her out of so much money. And he knew that she'd lost her mum. And the horrible way that she'd lost her mum. She'd had terrible problems with mental issues. That's what they pick. They pick vulnerable people. They pick people who have got these vulnerabilities, don't they? And then they start the grooming process. One of them even married the guy. You know, they got married, and do you know what? That made it worse, because when it came to her trying to expose him, because they were married, she couldn't take it to the police and that, because their assets were joint. So I think there's a lesson there: don't get married, because the ones that weren't married to the con artist, that's different. That's more of a criminal offence, because you've got separate assets. But the poor lady, I mean, I haven't watched the whole series yet. I've watched quite a few episodes of it. But the poor lady that was actually married to a guy who said he was a doctor. He wasn't even a doctor. He opened a bloody clinic for, what do you call it, plastic surgery clinic for butt lifts and all this sort of thing. And he wasn't even a doctor. He didn't even have a genuine medical degree, it turns out. But because they were married, I mean, she was you know, the women are always successful, aren't they? So she took out loans, you know, because it was at times when he said he couldn't pay the mortgage, or he just needed to get through, you know, on his business. She took out loans, or they took out loans jointly. You've got to be very careful when you open a joint account with somebody. And I found that years ago with my ex-partner when he self-deleted. We had a joint bank account, and I found out he had taken out a loan on our joint bank account for his business that wasn't doing very well. But I didn't even know about it. When I went to the bank and I said, look, I didn't sign for this. And they said, oh, it doesn't matter. It's a joint account. You don't have to sign for it. I was like, right, okay. So that loan was in both our names, even though I didn't even know about it and had never signed for it. You know, so it's unbelievable, you know, what people will do. And I didn't know my partner had gone and signed for that loan. The bank's very unsympathetic. It's just like, well, it's a joint account. You know, and we weren't married. Anyway, I can't remember how I got around it in the end. I don't know. I took it further and one thing another. But you can imagine that, you know, it's just terrible. Yeah, not Dirty John Bluebell. It's called Love Con Revenge, this series. Very good series. And this woman, this blonde woman here, she's the lady that was the victim of the Tinder swindler, Cecilia Ferkelly-Hay. Oh, sorry, she's got her surname I find impossible to pronounce. So sorry, Cecilia. But then the private investigator, the black woman, is the private investigator who helps her. It's a very good series. And they go out, interview people. I'm trying to think where I am. Oh, that was a good one, Fallen Soldier. This guy told the woman he was living in, that he was living with, that he was an army veteran. And he had a German Shepherd, and he said it was his army dog. And then when it came out that he'd been taking money out of her account, I think it was about $10,000 or something, until she realised that he was using her debit card and everything. So she challenged him, and he just went off and disappeared. And he left what was supposed to be his service dog with her, Zeus. And she kept the dog and looked after it. But, you know, obviously you think at the time, well, if this dog's supposed to have gone through his service with him. Oh, and he said he had all this PTSD because a very good friend of his died saving his life, took a bullet for him. Oh, he came out with the biggest load of crap you've ever seen. Anyway, it turns out they found the family of the friend that he said had taken a bullet for him. That's not how he died. He never had a service dog when he was in the army. He had been in the army, but he'd never had a service dog. So that poor dog that he just left behind was not a service dog. He just lied about everything that he told her. Anyway, I won't tell you what happens. One thing I will say is they do track him down. So that's a good one to watch, especially because you do feel like some justice. Some of them, you feel like they don't get their justice. But Moonbeam, yeah, I was just saying that one of these women in this series of Love Con Revenge, the man she married, he said he was a doctor, and they opened a plastic surgery clinic, and he was doing butt lifts, and he wasn't even a doctor, he'd never had any training. And also, one woman had actually died at his clinic. It was his cousin. Oh, I mean, do you know, this is it. It is a crazy world. You couldn't make this shit up, isn't it? That's why I don't watch Coronation Street and things like that, because I just watch them and I think, you know, for real drama, real life, you get the best drama, don't you? Okay, I've got to go because I've got classes. I could talk to you all day. There's always something to talk about, isn't there? I'm going to sort those videos out properly. Show you the nutty woman again at some point. Sorry, it was a lot of faff. But anyway, what a nice lady. Yes, so I'm a fucking foreigner. Dirty, disgusting foreigner. So I'm a puta extranjera. Gilipollas, I'm a wanker. What was the other thing that she said? Yeah, asquerosa, disgusting. Get back to your own country, váyase a tu país. And yeah, you only all come here to murder and steal. That's what some Spanish people think of British immigrants. We can call ourselves expats all we like, but actually we are immigrants in Spain if we live in Spain. Okay, thank you. I will see you really soon in the next video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Be kind, especially to foreigners. And I'll see you really soon in the next video. Till then, may your God go with you. Thank you.